Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Representative Kurt Oda, and I've been asked to be one of the co-chairs of Hunting Works for Utah. I want to thank everyone for being here. You know, the reason why we're here today is to highlight the mutually beneficial relationship hunting has with the economies of Utah, both on the statewide level as well as local economies. And to accomplish this, we're announcing today that a newly formed statewide partnership called Hunting Works for Utah. Now that's, you can see the logos around here, that little, almost like a warning sign, but it's basically to draw some good attention. Hunting Works for Utah is a partnership of organizations representing traditional and non-traditional economic beneficiaries of our hunting heritage. Included in the partnership are retailers associations, hospitality associations, including restaurants, hotels, convenience stores, guides and outfitters. We've got all kinds of state associations, chambers, tourism organizations. So there's a lot of interested groups here, and if I missed any, I apologize. So anyway, many citizens don't realize the impacts and how exactly commerce works, and what kind of role hunting plays in the economy, both in Utah and our wildlife, how the wildlife management works. Hunting Works for Utah's mission is to highlight and promote the strong economic partnership between the hunting community and our local economies. Now we'll hear from a few of our speakers. First we'll hear from Adam Massey, who's also a co-chair. He is the director of the Vernal Chamber of Commerce. Adam?
Hi, it's great to be with you today. I'm excited about being a co-chair here with Representative Oda. And what we wanted to do was just give you a little bit of information about, as we have about Hunting Works for Utah, and about the economic benefit that hunting brings into the state of Utah, as well as the other shooting sports. In Utah, hunting is important for many reasons. They're obvious, some are very obvious, and some not so much. It's obvious that it's a huge part of our heritage, and it provides food for our table for many of us. What's not so obvious is that hunting and the hunting industry provides millions of dollars to our local economies and our state economy. And it also provides jobs for our families. Let me give you some specific details of that. These numbers come from a recent study by the Congressional Sportsmen's Foundation. In Utah, hunters spend over $550 million each year in Utah on their sport. The resulting economic impact of these dollars translates into 12,700 Utah jobs. Utah Hunter Review results in $310 million in salary and wages also. Hunters in Utah pay more than $62.5 million in Utah sales, fuel, and income taxes. All of these hunters' dollars translates into a $925 million ripple effect on Utah's economy. These economic benefits can be seen across our state. In my own community, we certainly have come to appreciate the hunters who visit our establishment. And it's, you know, as we talk about hunters, sometimes I think we forget about the shooting sports that are also available. As a lifetime member of the NRA and also a lifetime member of the Amateur Trap Shooting Association, I've competed in trap shooting tournaments for the past 35 years. And I'm here to tell you, we're very fortunate in Vernal, where I live. We have one of the largest bunny shoots west of the Mississippi. And that translates into many hundreds of dollars that are brought into our community each year in that June trap shooting tournament. We get over 250 competitors. They also bring their families, their motorhomes. As Representative Oda says, they buy fuel, they eat in our restaurants, they stay in our motels, and it's a huge ripple effect in our community, one that we're very keenly aware of. So keenly aware that our Travel and Tourism Bureau gets together with our local chamber, and we pass out welcome bags to all the shooters that compete. And many of them, and they're in national magazines. We have one of the national captains of the All-American team, his favorite shooting tournament, and he shoots for a living, that's what he does, is our Vernal Shoot. because each year a lot of these people come and they realize what a beautiful place it is, and then they come back and they want to go fishing the Green River, they want to go see the Dinosaur National Monument. So it's a ripple effect in our economy with bringing travel and tourism, because it's a great representation. As we call it out there, it's a great way for us to showcase our community. When people come and see it, they want to come back on vacation. Recently, as many of you are aware, with a lot of the sweeping gun legislation in Colorado, had an opportunity at a BLM EIS meeting last night to visit with a gentleman that's a lifetime resident of Colorado. And he said, I never thought we'd see some of the things that we're now seeing in Colorado with some of the sweeping changes that we've seen there and that it's brought. As many of you know, Magpul and also High-Vis Sites has left Colorado to go to other areas. They provided jobs in that economy. One thing we did at the Vernal Area Chamber, because we are very close to Colorado, is we sent both of those companies letters asking them to please take a look at Utah as maybe a home for themselves, and as I understand, one has relocated to Texas and one has went to Wyoming, but where they will add to those economies. And I applaud what's been done on the legislative level here. As many of you know, Beretta's pulling out of Accokeek, Maryland, where they've been for a long time, where they provide many jobs in that economy, and I know a lot of our legislators here have tried to come up with different things to entice other businesses of that type to come to Utah, and that's fantastic. Would love to have them here. I appreciate everybody's efforts. Hunting Works for Utah, we're proud to be a member and a co-chair there, and thank them for what they're doing and getting the information out that they're doing here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Next, we'll hear from another, he's the director of our Division of Wildlife Resources. His name is Greg Sheehan. He took over just not too long ago, was it last year? And already shaking the place up and doing a great job. I'm excited to have him here, Greg.
Thank you, Representative Oda. I want to thank all of you who are attending today. This is very exciting for us as a Division of Wildlife Resources. We work hard to try to present opportunities for our wildlife hunters and enthusiasts out there, and programs like what we are forming here today or rolling out here today with Hunting Works in Utah are the very sorts of programs that help us extend and reach out to those hunters and future hunters here in our state. So I definitely do want to welcome Hunting Works for America here in their expansion into Utah. Some people ask, what do hunters have to do with wildlife management? And the answer is simple. There's plenty that is done by hunters. Virtually everything is done by hunters, and I'll give you some examples of that in a moment. Many people don't understand that the sale of many people don't understand that the sale of hunting and fishing licenses in our society pays for the majority of wildlife management. And more specifically, in the hunting arena, by purchasing all the required licenses and paying the federal excise taxes that are derived to the states and returned to the states based on the number of licenses sold. The hunting makes a huge contribution financially to our organization and the efforts that we put on the ground. Overall, and it was mentioned earlier, in our economy that represents about $550 million per year of impact without all the peripheral additives and gains that occur in our local communities. But maybe more importantly, it gives family and friends an opportunity to spend time together in our beautiful outdoors and with our wildlife resource. And in Utah, we're very proud of that heritage. We're very thoughtful of our opportunities to have families spend time together, and that's what we work so hard to achieve. As an interesting side note, just this year we had 357,000 people apply for our hunting permits for this year. So this is an interest and a passion that so many people have in the state. And as the Division of Wildlife, I'm proud of the efforts that we do and that our employees do to deliver a product, to deliver a a viable, sustainable wildlife resource that can be enjoyed in the future. We have top quality populations in Utah as well, and that's recognized throughout the country. 80,000 people who are not residents of Utah applied to come and hunt here this year as well. So we're appreciative of what we're able to accomplish here and how that's recognized in a greater area than just Utah. Through Pittman-Robertson dollars and paying those federal excise taxes on hunting equipment, hunters are contributing hundreds of millions of dollars for programs for those wildlife species. Some of those are hunted and others not. But hunters have, for our heritage of hunting in America, have always been the ones to step up and help out in preserving and expanding our wildlife populations. Some of the uses of those dollars, in addition to wildlife management that I mentioned, we use dollars to help lease lands to give opportunities with willing landowners who want to allow that access. Those are some of the types of things that we do. We develop and operate archery and gun shooting ranges throughout the state. We've got several of those in the state now. We're working with some of our local government to expand that. And again, those are a direct response to some of the dollars that we get from these excise taxes at Pittman-Robertson. One thing that's not well known, when this Pittman-Robertson bill passed, 1937, the very first project in America that was approved was for Farmington Bay Waterfowl Management Area. So that was project number 0001 in the government's federal aid program. And that waterfowl area is still one of the top areas in our state today. And it's an example of, again, how hunters are contributing dollars to make wildlife good for all. And so much of the use of our waterfowl areas isn't just by waterfowl hunters and enthusiasts, but it's used by bird watchers and others who want to get into the outdoors. And as I mentioned earlier, hunters have been willing and able to step up and help protect and enhance all of our wildlife populations. Another interesting note that we've accomplished in the state, just this year we passed the 1 million acre mark in Utah for habitat restoration. We have the largest habitat restoration program in the western United States. We've spent over $100 million in the last 10 years. Much of that money is generated by hunters. There's money out there by Pittman-Robertson money, our federal funds that come in there, and other state, local, and federal partners, as well as our non-governmental organizations who come in. Mule Deer Foundation, Sportsmen for Fish and Wildlife, National Wild Turkey Federation, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Safari Club International. All those partners and others bring us money to help restore these habitats, and it's so critical and, again, typical of what hunters do to help make wildlife better in our state. Again, we want to thank all of our partners. We want to thank Hunting Works in America, and now with the growth of Hunting Works in Utah, we hope that will expand and continue to achieve good recognition and good purpose in the state. And thank all of you again for coming today.
Okay, we've got two more speakers here that want to introduce. Both of them have been with the Division of Wildlife. They're both co-chairs. We have Clay Perschon. Clay, you've been up with the Ogden office, is that right?
I've been in a number of locations around the state.
Okay.
As Representative Otis said, I've had the great privilege of working a career for the Division of Wildlife Resources here in Utah for about 35 years, and I'm just absolutely delighted to see Hunting Works for America come to Utah. I mean, I've had experiences over my career that parallel those of my colleagues that have shown us the importance of keeping an eye on the economic side of things. 193,000 people hunt in Utah each year, and that's, a lot of these people, there's thousands of them that come from out of state. They come here, they spend their money at restaurants, at motels, gas stations, sporting goods stores, and a number of other places to get the things that they need to enjoy while they're here on their hunt. And in fact, there's 35,000 of those people that come here. And you know, when they come here, they bring their wallets with them. And they bring the new money to our economy here. And in that short period of time that they're here, they, along with the resident hunters, are spending $310 million or their spending rather translates into $310 million worth of salaries and wages for our citizens that live here in Utah. And I spent over half of my career working out in the northeastern part of our state, and I can tell you that the value that this adds to the rural communities is incredible. And it's always nice because the hunters are a dedicated lot. They show up every year, and it's certainly a boon to the people that have businesses in the rural parts of our state. But you know, if you've got a business that's located here along the Wasatch Front, where the preponderance of our population lives, that's within the scale of those people that are working in those businesses and their supplier. That's equally important to them as well. Hunting Works for America has over 700 partners in all of our chapter states, and I'm proud to say that at our launch here, we've got 30 partners in the state so far, and I can assure you that is just the beginning. There's going to be many more. So I'm happy to be a part of this organization and look forward to continuing to do good work for wildlife. And one of the things that makes this so fun for, I think, for speaking for all of us is when there's work to be done for wildlife, hunters have always have a long record of showing up and getting it done. So we're going to build upon that and grow. Thank you.
Our last speaker would be another co-chair, Roger Schneidervin, who's also been with the Division of Wildlife Services.
Thank you. I've also had the privilege of working for Wildlife Resources for over 25 years, and had a wonderful career, and I'm really happy to see that agency stepping up and supporting Hunting Works for Utah. Kind of to close and just to reiterate, all across our state, gas stations, motels, restaurants, sporting goods stores, hardware stores, tire shops, they all see hunters come in wearing orange and in camo and stepping up to the cash registers in the fall. These customers and the revenue and the jobs they produce are the lifeblood for many individuals, a lot of businesses, and up in the fairly remote part of the state I lived in for the very communities themselves. In the years that I worked as a wildlife biologist, I saw firsthand how the Pittman-Robertson dollars have aided our conservation efforts. Having the privilege to have lived in, worked a career at Flaming Gorge, one of the most beautiful portions of the state, and then finishing my career in the Northeast region and Vernal, I watched how the influx of hunters transformed those communities during the fall time. And I can tell you that revenue at that time of the year is a lifeblood for those communities. I'm co-chairing this organization because it's an important message. It's an important message right now, and I believe that we need to share it all across our state. Thanks to everybody.
Thank you, everyone. In the coming weeks and months and years, we hope to make Hunting Works for Utah a really prominent voice in, to advocate for sportsmen's issues and looking out for the hunting heritage in the state. In the coming weeks, we'll be meeting with partners and the media to spread the word about how important hunting is to the Utah's economy. We encourage all interested parties to go to the website www.huntingworksforut.com and sign up for more information and learn how to become a partner of this great organization. I want to thank the partners who are here today. I've got Browning, we've got Browning Arms, a wonderful friend of mine, and thanks, Scott. And Mule Deer Foundation, Turkey Federation, all of those. It's great to have you all here. Thank you. At this time, if there's any questions or anything, we'll be fielding questions, and I may have Christy. Come on up, just in case. Come on up. You're the one that's bringing us all to Utah, so.
Yeah. Well, if you have any questions, feel free to grab one of our co-chairs, and we can give you some info if you want to do a one-on-one interview. We'd be happy to provide. We've got a number of partners here as well: National Wild Turkey Federation, Mule Deer is here, petroleum marketers are here. So feel free to interact with them as well.